week, stayed grounded as much as possible with this new moon and all this energy coming in. And I want to welcome everyone for taking time this evening to listen to me here at the Cosmic Tune-Up Happy Hour, and also those in the future who are listening as well, because as you know, we've expanded out, and now the show is also on Facebook Live, on Oneness Talk Radio, on YouTube showing line, and also at the radio station, onenesstalkradio.com. So I've expanded out where you can see me more places than one. How cool is that? Well, once again, thank you so much for joining me this evening, now or in the future. And I have the most exciting guest tonight that's coming to join me. I'm so excited to have her. So I will be bringing her on in a few minutes. But before I do that, I just want everybody just to take a nice deep breath right now. And just breathe into this moment, come into the present, and just put your hand on your heart and allow yourself to sit in that space for a while, just for a minute or two, or not even that long. And just sit in that heart space and allow yourself to be present here and now, letting go of all the worries of the day, all the worries of the future, and allowing yourself the time right now to listen and be here with us. And we thank you so much for that. So right before I got on the call, I did make a little card reading. I did a quick little card pull, and just kind of like a message that wanted to go out for everyone this evening, and kind of apropos with our lovely guests we have this evening. So what I pulled was, it's All Souls. I'll just show you the card because now I can do that. And it's Life Meant to Be Enjoyed. Oops, let's see if I can do this here. I don't know if you can see it or not. So the message is life is meant to be enjoyed. And once again, I think it's a beautiful message for what is going on right now in the world, that we're so caught up in everything, in the chaos and, and everything that is happening on so many different levels, that we kind of forget some time to enjoy our lives and take that time out, that you can laugh at things that might be kind of sad or upsetting or things like that. Because when you can take light of situations and stay in the joyfulness of your heart and the joyfulness of your life, it makes life happen and flow a lot easier than trying to resist everything that happens and create more chaos from yourself. So thank the unicorn cards tonight for that beautiful little message. And further ado, I'm going to bring on our lovely guest this evening. Her name is Melanie Davis, and I had the honor to meet her, I think it was a couple years ago at a retreat that I was at, and she's just such a beautiful soul. She's one of those people you meet and you just see her beautiful light shine and glow from just all around her, and makes your heart melt when you talk to her. She's one of those souls out there that is truly genuine, authentic, and what she's creating right now with the spiritual closet and the modern empath and bringing to the world is such a beautiful, magical gift that is so required right now, with a lot of people waking up and not knowing what's happening, how to manage the energy. So I'm so honored and delighted that she is joining me this evening. And, Melanie is an intuitive medium channel, and she works with the angels and guides, and also does energy work with tarot oracles, Theta Healing, and other energy works, which she can tell you about. So further ado, I'm going to bring Melanie on. So there she is.
Hi.
Welcome, Melanie, to the show. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I'm thinking, I don't know if she's talking about me.
Of course I am.
I know you are, but
God.
it's like, sometimes we see ourselves in a different way. So I'm so happy to hear that that's, that I've touched you in that way. And I feel the same way about you, sister, just same way.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I just love you. And it was just a mutual connection when we first met. It was just so much fun and a really magical place. So
Yes, it was.
Fantastic.
We don't have to go into all that.
No. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I want to welcome you coming in, and I'd love to hear your little bit about your story and got you, to where you are and where you are now. Just kind of, I love hearing people's stories, and we'll go from there and just talk about the beautiful work that you're doing.
Yeah. So just a bit of a background. I've actually been on an exploration of spirituality, unbeknownst to myself, since I'd say after I graduated from college, so my early 20s. It probably even went a little bit before that, but I didn't really understand what I was doing. I was always interested in spiritual subjects, stories of near-death experiences, all these really interesting things. And I wasn't really raised in a very religious or spiritual home, although, we were raised in the Christian faith, but it wasn't a standard to go to church or anything like that. But I was married in a church and all that. So it was really interesting. Throughout these decades, I kept reading books, found Wayne Dyer and, Sylvia Brown and all of these things that would just draw me. And I was just reading, I felt like it was more of a hobby. And then I met some people that, shared similar interests. I was doing yoga and learning meditation and all of that. But the real epiphany came to me when I decided to take Corinne Gurlow's Angel Academy. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, yeah, this sounds really cool, really interesting. I was really getting into it. And at the same time, I was going through some health issues and, had a little bit of anxiety based around that. And especially when I was driving, I thought, oh gosh, if something happens and I'm going to crash into somebody, the big anxiety of, an accident, right? So at the exact same time, I was in Corinne's class and she had us starting to dive into that intuitive, the gifts, these spiritual gifts that we get when we tune into the energy around us. And, I'd be nervous driving and I kept hearing, don't worry, we have your back. We have your back. So it finally hit a switch when Corinne was talking about those intuitive, gifts. One of them is clairaudience.
Yes.
And that's clear hearing. And I have always heard these things. I just assumed everybody else around me could hear them too, right? I know you have that voice in your, right? Oh, and thinking, is that my voice? But it really wasn't my voice. And that's when I clued in, I'm actually hearing spirit, because it was always very comforting, very to the point, very loving, never judgmental, kind of, not that ego voice never popped in, but that was not spirit. There's a distinct difference. And that's when I started realizing, I should probably start paying attention to this. And when I did, the clairvoyance started popping in. And I realized that all along I had these gifts that I had just turned off and finally started rediscovering them, in my 50s. So
me too, right? Sister, I got you. Yeah. And that's what I think everyone on this planet does that. They listen to these voices and, and things that come to them and don't want to, everybody's so afraid of their power and knowing that, yes, this can happen to me. I don't have to be a guru sitting meditating 5 hours a day. I can walk this world and have these gifts and yeah. It's just such a beautiful thing to open up to those channels that we so resist, don't we?
It is. And sometimes I think we're almost taught to resist them because we're open up as children, right? We're very open. And, people talking to themselves, hearing voices in their heads. These are all things that we're taught are, that makes us kind of crazy. So we sort of suppress that about ourselves. And, it took me a long journey. And I think what really wanted me to start reaching out to people was, why should it take everybody as long as it took me? I'm going to start coming out of the closet, the spiritual closet, and saying, you have these exact same gifts that I do. You may be stronger in one area than the other, but you all have the gifts. And when I start talking to people about what I do, and I say, you have it too. Sometimes you know something, you don't know how you know it, or you sense something about somebody, or you see flashes, and inevitably everybody has at least one experience that they say, oh yeah, I've had that experience before.
Yes.
It's like, yes, we all have it. We just need to start tapping into it.
Yes, we do. So that led you to start the spiritual closet, correct? And then the modern empath, which is
yes. So I think it really kind of comes to the basics of tuning into that empathic part of ourselves. When we start understanding how we can tune into the energy around us, and some people, their feelings, that makes them uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But actually, we all have this energetic frequency that we can tap into. I know that everybody is, at one point or another, has walked into a room and has somehow known that something has gone on in that room, even when they weren't present. There is a lingering energy. Yeah. Or if you've ever had the honor to be around somebody who's passed, and when they pass, you can feel that energy leave.
Yes.
That kind of thing. And so an empath really, really is open to that energy. They allow it in more, or they can feel it or sense it more. And everybody, I think, can actually open themselves up to being more empathic.
Yes.
And what I understand is that when we open that up, when we begin to say, yes, I can feel this energy around me, you can start to work with that energy and work with your knowledge about how you engage with that energy. For example, if I am, like I started in my empath thing, if I start off in a fantastic mood, my morning is going wonderful, and I walk into the office at work and all of a sudden it plummets, and all of a sudden I'm upset, I don't know why, whatever. Well, I can probably say, it's not my energy that's causing it. I am picking something up. I'm absorbing some energy from somebody else or something that's happened, and I need to be very, very aware of that. So how do you pick yourself up again? That's the thing. Noticing first that it's not your energy is huge. And another part of it is making sure that you protect or block yourself from any energies you don't want entering your space. And the whole point of that is so that you have clarity. You make decisions based on how you feel, what's true to you, and not what's external from that.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is a huge thing. Everybody's like, oh, this is happening, I'm feeling this way. And, everybody listening out there, you've really got to discern now, especially more than ever with the energy. I don't know about you, the energy levels are so increasing, the veil's getting thinner, and it's tapping in at so many different levels right now, to really stop when you're feeling out of sorts and take that time to discern the energy and realize that 99.9% of the time, it's usually somebody else or picking up on the collective to allow that energy and protect yourself around that and release that energy, because it isn't yours. It's usually somebody else's you are picking up on. And,
exactly.
So what do you recommend for an empath? People might be listening tonight that, protection. I know that's part of, you have this beautiful checklist and stuff that you have, which is awesome, which we can give the link to it later. So what would you recommend for somebody as a tool to help assist in keeping their fields clear?
Yeah. So going along with that list, one of the first things that I always try to do every day is I try to ground myself. So, and basically what that is attaching my energy to the earth's energy, because it somehow brings us back to center, where we know that we are still on this material plane and we're attaching to it. We're connecting with that energy plane. Because if you tend to daydream or go to the spiritual realm, you want to be anchored, and you want to. So if you're creating up in that spiritual realm, well, how are you going to bring it down to the material world? You need to be anchored to the material world. Yeah. So that's the best ways to gain that alignment, to feel grounded and connected to the earth. And one of the other parts of that is trying to get into nature every day, because getting into nature makes you feel a part of life. I'm alive. I feel all this energy around me. I'm a part of that energy. So when you can connect with it and feel it, you know that you have all this incredible, amazing energy to work with. And that can actually help you vibe up, makes you feel great.
Yeah,
The other
nature's
thing
our
is,
natural support system.
yes, it is. It's amazing. Right now, even though it's, I'm in the West, it's very smoky. But there's still so much beauty around. It's been kind of dark and cloudy looking, but there's still this gorgeous red rose right outside my window. And it's so, even though there's a bunch of smoke filled, and I feel very blessed that I'm not in the fires itself.
Yes.
I've been in that position before, and that's frightening. So my blessings go out to all those people and
Yes.
the animals that are trapped. Anyway, aside from that, the one part of it is also gratitude. Always having that gratitude of just being. There's always something that you can be grateful for. If you have food, that's something you can be grateful for. If you have clothing or a place to sleep at night, or the ability to walk outside, the ability to move itself is a blessing.
Yes.
So those are those things that can help you stay centered in your world. And it's just one of those things that makes you feel part of the energy. So that's what I recommend. But one of the big ones that I feel, in order to keep your energy solid, is to put up a bubble of protection. Now, you don't have to do any major ceremony for it, or you can do a major ceremony as you want. But truly, it's about gathering energy, and you can draw it up from the earth when you ground, have it come through, or you can call on the angels, especially Archangel Michael, and ask for this gorgeous bubble of protection to be put around you. And then one beautiful part of it is you can ask for your energy to be cleansed within inside that bubble. Mm-hmm. Ask for that energy to so protect you so that nothing of a lower vibration can enter. And it's amazing how non-reactive you become to some of the most chaotic things in the world when you have that bubble up.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Energy work to me is just so beautiful, because it, as you said before, you can do a long ceremony or short ceremony, but Disney had it right. Bippity boppity boo. I say that all the time. It is that fast, because that frequency and that vibration, is so different than our physical, that we can just simply put a bubble around us and be protected. It is that simple, that it doesn't take long periods of time. You can choose to do that as well. But if you're on the go all the time, it's zippity zappity, just, ground yourself, put your bubble on and go,
Yeah, I actually do it when I commute. I put it around my car.
Yes.
I just add, hey, can you put this bubble of protection on my car? So I just feel, I'm in my little space, and, I feel just extra protected. And I don't get hyped up about the traffic when I do that. I feel like I'm just, so in flow. So everybody should try it. It's wonderful.
Yes. Or, I always find too, in traffic, if for some reason I do get delayed, it's because something ahead of time is Spirit is taking care of me by stopping me here, because something's happening ahead to prevent me from something else. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I don't get upset about it anymore.
No, I used to, but yes, I do my best. Now, there are the days I do get off that, but I do my best to stay in that.
I'm a work in progress.
Yes, and that's it. It always is. It's a day. It's a minute by minute. It's a present by present navigation. And to redirect, come together, redirect, come together, redirect, come together.
Yes, and I think a huge part of being an empath, and what I really want to bring forward, what I want empaths to know is we're in control of this. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we feel things happen to us energetically, and it's okay, but you can actually help yourself and be a little more resistant to some of the things that are happening around you. I know we're all triggered, and boy, 2020 is probably the biggest trigger of them all. This year is just one trigger after another. So we're all being tested. And I have to admit, I've bobbled way off of balance because of things that have happened this year. So, but I know that it's in my control to get back on that, on feeling balanced, and I can do it. And it takes work every day. It takes work, even multiple times a day. It takes work to get back onto that center, but we can do it if you recognize it, recognize the energy, recognize your reaction and response to it. You can fix it.
Yes. And that's the key, is recognize your reaction and response to it, and stop yourself to sit with it before you have that reaction and response, so it's not emotionally triggering you.
Yes. Yep.
That's the key. Get rid of what triggers you inside. Because what happens on the out is going to still happen no matter what. It's us learning to navigate, not to be triggered by that happens on the outside.
Yes. Yes. And just, and I mean, how you respond when you feel that, when you're from that place of balance, is so much more empowering than responding from that place of anger or reaction.
Yes.
It just, it just makes you feel like a whole person when you respond.
And being an empath and the energies and how they are increasing right now, I've noticed, I don't know about you, Melanie, but just going out in the world now, everybody's on edge. The anxiety levels out there, people are just like
yes,
frantic on how to function, because everybody, if they want to or not right now, it can't be helped, are waking up from the vibrational changes of this planet.
Yes. And there are those people, and you probably know a few, I do, that definitely, when chaos ensues or when things get really tense, they want to push your buttons.
Yes.
And, and they're going to do anything to it. But if you have agency over your energy and what you're blocking, and taking in, they won't push those buttons. But you're right. There is a lot of up and down energy. There is a lot of opposing energy that's happening because people are waking up, and so we're waking up cranky. Because waking up is not an easy thing. The whole journey, when you wake up and when you start on this journey, is really, really difficult work. And I think the people that don't want to wake up, or they're fighting it, are screaming the loudest at the moment.
Yes.
Because the shift is going to happen. It's like aging. It's going to happen. You're getting older, you're moving along that timeline. Changes happen. And, there's no going back.
No. We've crossed that time as a consciousness on the planet. So it's
yes. Yep, there's no going back.
No going back.
So you might as well move forward, feeling in a bit more. I mean, control. I'm never in control of anything, even though I'd like to think I am. But I can react. I can control that.
Yes.
Or try to control how I react and respond. To something, and it just makes my life so much easier when I do.
Awesome. That's great. Yes, it is. I know that I've had here lately with these energies, and especially for me personally, I'm very connected to the weather, and it has been a huge challenge for me here lately with all these storms and everything. The fires that are going on and everything. Huge, very big challenge for me right now. Just keeping myself level and knowing my energies. Have you found that yourself? I notice I've been upgrading with my energy level, and how I'm actually receiving information is like, it's coming in at another level. Are you finding that as well, Melanie?
Yeah, I am actually. It's coming in clearer, for one, but it is coming in another level. It's almost as if, when there was a huge shift, it lasted for about 2 weeks. I can't exactly pinpoint the date, but I was so exhausted, but it was just an inflow of downloads and energy and all of that. And when that's happening, it's prepping you for a major change.
Yes.
So anybody out there who is feeling, super exhausted, like, you're sleeping heavy, but you wake up tired, you are probably receiving a lot of information while you're sleeping, even if you don't know that you are. And things are going to start opening up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's what messages you receive, your intuitive gifts may even become more highlighted. That's how it works for me anyway.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
And I've noticed that, gosh, I can't remember when it started. It was kind of around the pandemic, when the pandemic first got really going.
Mm-hmm.
It was all exhausting, but there were a lot of spiritual changes happening at the same time. So
Yes.
I don't know if anybody else, you obviously felt it. And I know a lot of the clients I worked with were feeling it as well.
Yes. I was going to say, if anybody wants to call in tonight and has any questions or like to talk to Melanie, the number to call in is 517-208-1500 if you like to call in. I seem to always forget that, so I just wanted to tune in. So, but, moving forward, do you have any recommendations right now that you found, the clients that you work with and the channels that are coming through for you and the messages that are, that you're receiving, any updated messages that you like to share or information to really assist people that are waking up and might be tuning into the show for the first time and just learning you're an empath, because it's so important to really assist and co-create together, really help people that are waking up right now.
Yeah. So one thing about, being an empath, like I said, it's so important to know what your own energy is. And the reason that is when you are feeling certain emotions, it's not a bad thing to feel sad or fear. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you're a human being living in this human experience. And also when you have these emotions, it's telling you something. So your own emotions about your own life and your own, it's telling you something and it may be that you have a block or something that you need to work on a karmic soul level so you can work through that, shift timelines, and ascend even higher in receiving those spiritual gifts. I know it sounds kind of like, yeah, right? But there are certain things, for example, I'll give myself as an example. When my mother passed, I was doing this spiritual work, and it was really, really, it hit me really hard. But there was a lot of things that came in. There was anger, not at my mother or anything, but other people, and just all these different flood of things that were around it. Well, I finally realized it wasn't the other person or anything. It was some of my stuff, my blocks that were triggered by her passing. And I realized I need to clear this. It's rising up because it's showing me you need to heal from this so you can move on and do more. You need to heal from this so you can move forward and live the life you want to live. And it has shown me constantly, time and time again, keep peeling back the layers. There's always something I need to work on as a soul. A human being is a soul. And as I do it, I get better and better and better at trusting those feelings and emotions and intuitive hits from spirit. And my life has become even better.
Awesome.
Even though it's a struggle, it's hard. The work is so worth the effort.
Yes. And do you find that, for myself as well, I found, going through the path I've gone through and the journey that I've gone through and the things I've experienced that, people are always like, it's so hard to do this work. And yes, it is. And you have those people that just want the instant fix and don't want to do the work. And being an empath, you've got to clear out those blocks and those core beliefs. You can't just, it is magic, but it's not. You have to do the work to clear that out. And where is going that? Are you finding as you move forward on your path, have you found that it doesn't take as long, where it might have taken a month to clear something? Now it might just take you a couple hours or a couple minutes to pull yourself back and clear that out.
Yes. And the hardest part was when you're in crises, right? Because when you have whatever they call the dark night of the soul or that sort of point, that is where you are really making an identity shift from into awakening. And that's really a painful process. And it can last a while depending on who you are and what you have to deal with.
Yes.
And I've gone through it, and I know many people have, and people close to me have gone through it. And that has been, and it's really difficult, hard work. And you're thinking, oh, I'm connected with the divine. It's all love and light, but you have to do some really dark work and, and really look at yourself, all aspects, and love and embrace all aspects, and move through some of those ego things that, I don't want to forgive, but you have to, right?
Yes. And that's a huge one there.
Yeah. Yeah. But, you want to hold on to that with all your might, but it's like, what is the saying where you hold on to that burning rock because you want to throw it, but you're holding on to it, so you're really burning your own head.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so true, isn't it? It's
yeah.
Why did I put myself through this again?
Yes. Yeah. I thought he dealt with this, but and it continues, with that layers, but it's such a beautiful moment when you get to the other side and you realize, oh my gosh, look what I just got through. And that's an opening.
Yes.
And little crises will pop up here and there as well, but I know how to handle that. I got it. And you deal with it.
Yes.
You don't, tuck it away like we used to do before we were awake. We actually deal with it. And that's the wonderful part of it. And
look at it. And spirit's tricky too. And the universe is tricky, and the energies, they love to play with us. Like, oh, you got this done. Okay, let's set up a little example here. Let's see where you really are.
Yeah. And the moment you think I got this, I know what I'm doing. It's like, no, you don't.
I did this.
Yeah.
Especially boundaries. I find for me, I don't know about you, being an empath and those boundaries, as we talked in the beginning of the show, picking up other people's boundaries is energetic boundaries is a huge thing when you're waking up and going through. Did you find that for you?
Yeah. Yes. It's interesting. Always try to recognize those. And when I'm working, I always put that boundary up and basically try to neutralize my energy so it doesn't come in on any reading at all.
Yes.
I don't want any bias to enter this person's energy. So what I do is I do put us in a bubble of protection, but we are separately in our own bubbles in a bubble. So that way, I try to get it as pure as I possibly can. But yes, the boundary issue is something. It's hard too when you're a mom, as a lot of women are super intuitive. And I think obviously if you have that maternal part of yourself, when that rises up, it's hard to have, to be solely responsible for this little soul and then start pulling away and giving that boundary. Boy, that's a tough one. Yeah. So I have adult children, and I tell them, I have fear for you, but you know what I'm doing? I'm putting a bubble of protection around you, because that's about all I can really do.
And that's it. That's all you can do as a mother. It's is putting that bubble, knowing this is their path, this is their journey, and just hold that space for them, and keep your bubble, and just allow them to float along their path. So
that's a hard one.
It is, especially when they get older, and that, mine's in college right now. So I know yours are in college. You're a little older. Yours are a little older than that, correct?
Yeah. They're out of college. Yeah.
They're out of college. Yeah.
They're under 30.
But it's just an interesting, thing having children and cutting that cord, especially being a mother and carrying those children inside of you. So that connection is so huge. And
it is.
Yes.
It is. But I think getting back to, I think there's a lot of right now, how we have these children, and what got me onto this empath and how I want to teach it is because my daughters are incredible empath, and very, very receptive to this energy. And I can see them struggling. Yeah. And I thought, here I am, helping. I want to help. I want to help those people that are struggling to find out how to deal with the energy. that they
Yeah.
don't know what to do. And I believe that right now there are a lot of empathic young people coming up
Hmm.
that are making themselves more known. And I think if any of us that have been through this journey can help them, it'll just make a healthier society if we
It
all
will.
know how to handle our energy and emotions and working with it.
Yes, that melts my heart. Thank you so much, as I said, Melanie, for the work that you're doing, for younger and all, the empaths. I mean, because it is so important right now, especially these little ones, going back to the little ones coming in, they're coming in wide open, ready to go. And they,
Yeah.
with magical gifts beyond what we've been, able to tap into. So it's so important right now for people to understand energy and teach their children energy and not shut them down, because they're the ones that are going to move us forward from where we are right now in our in our planet and our consciousness and our changing of our world.
Yes, I think there's they're pioneers. I think we've kind of pioneered a little bit, but they're fully coming in, and their
Mhm.
BS detectors are on high alert. They know
Oh,
when something's not authentic.
oh yes. There's
And
some little sassafrasses out there.
yes, yes. So I have to honestly say, my daughters have called me on my BS, and that was. It's like, you know what, you're right, because
Yeah.
they just know, and I'm open. Before, if it were, when I was a little more in the ego, I would probably say, what are you talking about? But now it's like, oh, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's beautiful. And I think as a society, we need to open up to that, to call each other on a shit and be okay with it. Because
yeah,
everybody has their own point of view, and we all need to look at our stuff.
yeah,
And we don't have to agree, but everybody's a mirror. Everybody's, we're all playing this game together, and we need to work together to play this game together to move forward and be okay, and let go of this judgment of each other and really start co-creating with each other to make this planet a beautiful place to be. Not that it isn't already, but you know, to make it better than it is now, to move forward consciously.
right. I think, and I agree with you. We are all here together, and the big part of that is, boy, just having compassion for somebody else's journey.
Hmm.
We don't all see life the same way because we all have a different life.
Yes.
And I think working with my clients, understanding and I don't know all that they go through, but I know that they go through some heavy stuff.
Hmm.
And that has actually made my compassion for the human condition just expand beyond belief, because I don't know what anybody's going through as I walk by them on the street, and they don't know what I've gone through. And we can't say mine's worse than yours, or
Wow.
there's just no comparison. We just don't know. So what do we have? I I I feel compassion for whatever they're going through, for whatever anguish, whatever pain that they're having. I get it. I understand it. And even though oftentimes I don't agree maybe with how they do things or whatever, but I know I don't do everything according to what other people think I should do. So
Yeah.
it's just that flexibility. As long as I'm not, hurting somebody intentionally with what I'm doing, everyone
Yes.
gets some respect.
And that,
Yeah.
and that's absolutely beautiful, Melanie. Because we do need to hold that space and compassion on their journey. And a lot of times that's all we can do, because it is their journey, and we don't need to fix them, because they are beautiful who they are. And all we can do is hold that space of compassion. So thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that, because that is so important, that nobody out there really has to be fixed. They just need to be held and, in compassion as they move through their journey.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And when I channeled the message for this week's energy, and it was Archangel Gabriel and Orion that actually
Mhm.
showed up for the message. And what they were saying is, maybe not, if people are super angry and keyed up and all that, for an empath, it's probably not the best thing to really engage in that, because you absorb that energy, but also observe it when you see somebody that's incredibly angry or riddled with frustration or whatever, if you look at them with a compassionate heart, you realize how unhappy something is triggering them to be unhappy, because that's not a happy person, right?
No.
There's definitely dealing with something that is causing them fear and pain. And that's the recognition we need to give it. Okay, I see your pain. But it doesn't mean we can fix it. It just means that we recognize it. Yeah.
And isn't that all we all want, is to be seen?
Yes.
It's to really be seen from the truth of who we truly are.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yes. And that's so beautiful. So beautiful. It's interesting times right now.
It is. It is. I've tried everything, and hopefully it helps, putting the world in a bubble, all sorts of things, the climate, everything. I've been just trying to do whatever I can from my own little perspective, and in quarantine, right? So, and quarantine, actually, I was, not that, yay, quarantine, it was the love and the reach out that came from quarantine. All of these people reaching out to help each other, to make those connections that maybe we wouldn't have done normally.
Yes.
I mean, I was awestruck at it. I felt it was such a great thing. We were all in timeout. The world put us in timeout, and we decided that we were going to, respond a little more, respectfully toward each other, and, with love in our hearts, and, checking in on each other, which we might not have normally done.
No, I mean, she really brought us, this whole quarantine brought us to be present in who we are, and to be in the now, and take check at everything, because we've all been so caught up of going, doing, I have to do this, that we all forgot how to stop and observe and listen and be with ourselves, and open up to be present.
Yeah, being with ourselves, being in with our own thoughts.
Yes.
For some people, that's a scary thing. And I have compassion for that. But when you begin to question your thoughts, that's when the real growth starts, right?
Yes. Yes. And learning to trust, I think that's the key too. When those thoughts come in, I know, to learn to really trust, especially when your gifts are coming in, to make that stand to trust.
Yes. And trust is a big one, is trusting yourself. Am I receiving this properly? And then trusting Spirit will give you exactly what you need in the moment. And anybody who's a control freak, yes, reforming control freak right here. One of the best things I've ever done, and it has taken a long time, is surrendering to knowing that I'm supported.
Yes. And,
I could talk about it, but the act of it is it's almost like your body just sighs, like you're floating in a pool. That kind of thing. And there was one point, I don't know if it was during quarantine or right before, and I was having this mini crisis in my own mind, working through some stuff. And I was so tired of it, of the BS that was going on in my own mind. I finally just laid down on my bedroom floor, just spread eagle, said, okay, I'm done. And I completely surrendered. And it was the best moment of my life at that point. It was complete, total surrender. And that feeling, I held on to that feeling. And now it's easier and easier and easier. And the moment I surrendered, everything just opened up.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
So could you recommend any tools or anything to help somebody? I mean, I know you kind of explained it, but any technique or anything that you found works for you to if you find you need to surrender to something that's maybe assisted you or...
Yes. And it's really hard, especially if you are, feeling like I need to control the situation. If you're on that spiritual path and you're communicating using your intuitive gifts and you're really into it, and you can feel that energy around you. It's that support. It's almost like a baby trusts the mother, right? When in utero, it's completely surrendered to whatever the mother's doing, right? That's the feeling I want you to feel when you're surrendering. I am protected, I'm safe, and I'm completely surrounded in love. And I trust it. I trust it. I don't have to guide it. I don't have to tell it what to do. It knows exactly what to do.
Yes.
That's the point where you need to where it's just a complete relaxation of everything. You're okay with whatever happens next.
And that's a hard thing to do.
It is. That's probably one of the hardest things I've ever learned how to do.
Yes. But once you can bring yourself to that space, it really can make some huge changes in your world.
Yeah. And when you get to that space one time and you know what it is, remember the feeling.
Yes.
Remember what it feels like, because that's where you want to get back to.
Yes.
It's all about, as an empath, knowing what you're feeling. And is it mine? Yes, this is mine. I know what this feels like. I know how to get back to it.
Yes.
No interference from anything else. Yeah.
And for me, I find when, in that place of surrender, when you can be in that space and remember that space all the time, especially when you're out navigating the world, or, when you can stay in that space of surrender, it really allows you to go out in the world and everything flows, and all the chaos and everything, all the negativity won't even see you. It's like you're like invisible to it. And I experience this all the time, different ways I go out in the world. And I don't know about you as well. When I'm aligned and in surrender and in that space, it's just like boom, boom, boom. Everything just flows with no problems whatsoever.
Right. And if there's a little glitch, I basically I say, thank you for helping me with this.
Yes.
As if it's already happened. And it always clears up. There's always help.
Yes.
I never tell them how to help me, but thanks for helping me. Yeah.
Yes. It's kind of, as you move along, I feel, just becoming allies with those energies, because they're going to be thrown at you no matter where you are, how aligned you are. Those energies will find you sometimes and be thrown at you as a test.
Yeah. And when I was early doing it, I would say, okay, well, I'm going to tell Spirit exactly what I want. I want this, and I want you to do it this way, and I expect this result. And that's not the way it works. So I just say thank you, for whatever, for this wonderful time with Becky on this Cosmic Tune-Up Happy Hour. Thank you so much for this. And
right back at you.
There's no expectation of how it had to go, what it had to, anything like that. Those kinds of things. So if you're looking for something, if you want to manifest something and using your spiritual gifts, really trust when you say, I would love this, love this to happen. But you don't have to tell Spirit how to do it. That's the ego coming in, because we're thinking we know how everything works, when actually we're just about this much in the infinite, right?
Yes. And I find that too, being in the infinite and this much in the infinite, as you're saying, and I lost my train of thought there for a second, and that expectation, when we put expectations on what's supposed to show up, we lose sight of the journey we're supposed to go on in order to receive that. And sometimes our journey, it doesn't happen right away, because we have to go on the journey first in order to receive it fully and completely. And that's part of how the universe unfolds things. Some things are instantaneously, and a lot of things are, but sometimes we need to go on a little journey first in order to be in that space so we can open to receive.
Right. And when those little blocks come up, those challenges, these are things to be worked on to clear the path on your journey.
Yes.
So, and that's how we learn. That's what makes the journey so rich.
But us humans we just want to jump to the destination. We forget about the journey. And the universe and the angels are just down there shaking their heads.
Yeah. And then what's the next destination? Because, once you get there, you got to plan another trip, right? There's something else, right? So,
Yes.
and I was listening to this Ram Dass recording for another program that I'm doing, and it was all about, you know, when, like, he was talking about like being on a plane. So I'm on a plane going to Dallas. He goes, and so as I'm sitting, you know, here in Los Angeles, thinking I have to go to Dallas, he goes, I'm not really here in Los Angeles because I'm thinking about Dallas. So it's about being present in Los Angeles. And then when you get on the plane, you're on the plane. And he goes, because wherever I go, there I am.
Yes.
It's almost like, you know, you constantly hopping to place. Oh, what? Maybe I'll be better over here. Then you go there, but you're still there. It's you still there.
Yes.
So the work has to be done in you to appreciate where you are.
Thank you for that. And always checking in with yourself. You always got to constantly bring it in and check in.
Yes, that's right.
So tell me, it's actually getting to the top of the hour here. It's 8:50.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? Woohoo!
No, it is wonderful.
I like you right now, just, you know, how people can get in contact with you. And I know you have the download for your checklist.
My Modern Empaths, checklist.
Or anything you like to share about your work and how to get in contact. And also to let everybody know, I'll do the YouTube. So it will be at YouTube, and I'll put a full description of contacts as well. But just for now,
Yeah. So on Facebook and Instagram, Instagram I'm under Spiritual Closet, and Facebook as well, Spiritual Closet. But I have a community in Facebook, and you just need to request to come on and, you know, I always approve. And in that one, you know, I do these weekly deep dives because every week I do card reading and a channeled message from Spirit. And then I also look into the astrological energies, and I am not an astrologer by any shape or form. So I rely on other astrologers to get my information, but everything always aligns. And it's never, I always do the card reading and channel message on a Saturday. And then I look at the energies on a Sunday. So, and we always seem to come together, even though they're all separate. And then I do a deep dive and it goes on Facebook and Instagram on Monday evenings, and I talk about those energies. And sometimes I can dig a little deeper than I can when I write down and do those emails. Now the emails, I'll have to try to get you the link to that, because basically the people will get the emails when they click on the ad for the Modern Daily Empath Checklist. But I just gave you the link to the checklist. Okay. So if they don't give an email, then they won't get those weekly readings. But I'll try to get that to you.
But they can go to your website as well and sign up for the checklist as well, correct?
Yes, they can. And that's thespiritualcloset.com. Awesome.
Any other ways to contact you, or any special programs you like to tell us about?
Well, right now, actually, I'm working on probably doing a new program. I might be starting. I'm in a module to learn how to build a membership site. So that's going to be exciting. And the reason why I want to do a membership site is because I can go deeper with the members on if they really want to explore being an empath and explore their spiritual gifts. We can go as deep as we want to, as they want to go, finding out, you know, what clairs are, you know, they're, you know, clairsentient, clairaudient, cognizant, or clairvoyant, what they're really good at, what tools they can use to help themselves clear blocks or help others if they choose to be of service in that spiritual realm. And just explore certain areas, you know, that I have just been looking at, like, you know, crystals and music and that sound therapy. That is amazing. And actually, for this week on my channel message, one of the cards was music, and Spirit really wanted people to tune in to that lovely healing of music. Whatever vibed them up and made them feel fantastic. It was a strong message to have that connection with music. So, and I thought of you immediately when I pulled that card.
Well, thank you for that. Maybe that's why I contacted you this week.
That's right. Yeah, you came into my conscience.
Melanie just has to be on this week, so here you are.
Yeah, it was perfect. But let's see. Those are the ways you can get a hold of me. Or make comment. And, start working in that spiritual community to, start a dialogue. And give tips to other people. If you've been going through things and you want to share your journey or how you've overcome stuff, because I'm just one person, but there are a lot of different ways to, attack a problem and get on the path. Yeah.
And there's so many people waking up. I think more and more groups are forming right now, more and more people. So everyone out there, find your tribe of peeps. And, whether it be joining the spiritual closet or another group you might have, find what works and resonates with you to help you grow.
Yeah. Yes. And not everything that I do would resonate with everybody, but on my journey, there were a lot of different people that I listened to. I used to follow the Daily Love with Mastin Kipp all the time. I read pretty much every Wayne Dyer thing. All of these various teachers along the way that I feel like so much gratitude for. Corinne Grillo, another one. Everybody, my contemporaries, everybody. I find something beautiful, something wonderful coming from them.
And there are so many beautiful teachers out there. So, and as I said, that one thing is just find what resonates with you. And so know that somebody might really resonate with you, and all of a sudden you're like, they don't really resonate anymore. And that's okay. That means you're growing.
You're growing.
You're growing, and you might need another teacher. So that's okay as well. And don't beat yourself up.
Yeah. And you hope that's what's happening, is that you're, going with these, new teachers, new ways, new things, because you're exploring your life.
Yes, and expanding and growing who you are, and that's what it's all about. And have fun. And as the unicorn said, just life is meant to be enjoyed. So enjoy it, everyone, the best you can right now with everything that's going on. And I want to thank you, Melanie, so much for being here tonight. It has been such a pleasure and honor. And let's see, we've got Kevin had texted in earlier. I'm following this chat board. I'm not the best at it. Thanks for the healing process breakdown. And Carolyn said hi, and Ariana said hi. So we got a couple here.
Hi, Carolyn. Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, so I thought I'd thank those. And once again, I want to thank everyone for joining me here tonight, and beautiful Melanie Davis for sharing her beautiful gift. And it warms my heart. Keep up the good work, sister, and spread the love and really assist, because your work is so needed right now in the world. And I'm honored to have you as one of my sisters. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you too. So, further ado, we are going to close out for the night. And once again, if you like this video, because we got to do the Oneness Talk Radio, can I do the subscribe below, click below, or whatever they do now? So, and subscribe to this and listen to this. And thank you again. And reach out to Melanie, join the spiritual closet, and just navigate, love, and be yourself. Thank you so much, everyone. Mwah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.